I'm Min.
And I'm Sam.
And we are from Bee Services Grafton. We currently run 4,700 hives, 2,700 are base for pollination, and also the other 2,000 are for honey production. So we first discovered Varroa. It wasn't actually us, it was discovered by a DPI officer in October 2023. We then went on to discover our first load ourselves in June 2024. And to date now we have roughly 2,700 hives infested with Varroa.
So Varroa treatment costs have had a big impact on our business. Before Varroa, we never had this cost, so we've had to factor this whole new cost into our business model. Soon on from Varroa, we knew we had to start planning. At the moment, our Varroa costs we've found are sitting about 30% of our revenue. So yeah, no, it's definitely something we've got to budget for. Those costs, there's a lot of direct costs in your treatments, but also a lot of indirect costs being, surveillance costs, training costs, staff costs to go and do the treatments, etc. So it's something we really keep a close eye on. You have to spend it, or there's no point. Put it that way.
You're not going to have a hive left.
Correct. So it's a necessary cost. So this is something me and Min often talk about. We're not concerned about managing it, doing the treatments. We're concerned more so about the long term, the cost to us and what that will have on the business long term. We haven't actually increased any of our pollination services fees. So even though Varroa costs are affecting our bottom line, we haven't passed it on yet to our customers, and we're trying to avoid doing that for as long as possible.
Yeah.
There's so much work in the record keeping, knowing which hives are getting treated at the moment, to what treatment they've had, to when they've got to come off treatment. That is such an integral part of the management process. We do that through our own internal systems database, but it's such a big job.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to record and know, which hives, which loads,
what treatments. Surveillance with the hives is one of the most important things when it comes to Varroa. So last year we were at the 12 weekly doing washes, which we had a rotation and a crew of guys that would go out and do washes on each loads. When you're running about 52 loads of bees, that can be a full-time job for 2 guys. So I think we did drop down to about a 6-week rotation on washes. And then once things started to ramp up in our loads, we then went to a 4-weekly and 3-weekly wash cycle. And that way we could actually pick up signs of heavy infestations of Varroa. So we gradually watched our hives grow from no Varroa to being under the threshold, to then within 3 weeks being way over the threshold. And they were definitely in high mite areas. So we noticed signs of bees out the front, with Varroa on them. Yet 3 weeks ago, they were producing honey, they were full of brood, 8 frames of brood, and within 3 weeks, the mite load just exploded. But having our surveillance and our record keeping in place definitely secured that structure of knowing when hives were due, and we could kind of prepare. We knew when we had to have treatments done, in stock and ready to go for these hives. It also prepared our staff as well. So we did some training with our staff on some of our first loads, in-house training where Dad attended and worked with the staff to make sure things were being done correctly. And from there, like now it's kind of just the normal in our business. Like it's part of our business. If you go to a load, you're obviously going to wash it. You're obviously going to do some drone uncapping, and you're going to look for those signs of, you know, are there dead bees? You know, anything to pick it up. Over the past few years, we have attended a number of DPI training days with videos, and it's great for us, it's invaluable to learn new strategies and take on board just the information that has been available to us when it comes to, say, treatments, surveillance, and just like making sure that everyone is okay. It is also good to also talk to other beekeepers while we're at these programs to also, you know, listen to their opinions and their strategies and also what they're seeing in their hives.
I think for us, our big, you know, our plan to move forward is to really concentrate on what we have to do to move forward. So, you know, making sure what we're spending money on is what you need to spend money on. The assets that you have in your business, they're assets that you're using, and they're what you are going to need in the future. So, you know, without a doubt, where Varroa costs money, we're going to need money to spend. So our focus is really on, you know, if we're going to spend that money, do we need to spend it? Do we need to have money there to spend? So if there's things sitting around that we're not using, they need to go. Your record keeping is going to be key. Management decisions, I mean, we often have monthly meetings where we sit around, we talk about this. We stay on top of it. Be proactive, you know, don't bury your head in the sand, face it head on, and always look positive, I think, to the future, because we're going to make sure we're there for it.